They assemble at night, each one having prepared as diligently as possible for the time given to them before the witching hour, the hour of reckoning, the time when they begin outdoor cartoon television. Stray Casts is on the air.
Fish it out.
Yes, Wednesday night, Stray Cast, outdoor cartoon television. I'm Pat Renwick. And I am a victim of the science age.
Is that true?
The ruler of the storm. The underground. This is Bass Fishing Wizardry. This is Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. And, dude, we are psyched up tonight. We are stoked. I love this stuff. I absolutely love this stuff. Sitting right here to my right is my buddy, the one and only, ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Popcorn Whitacre. Let's give it up for the popcorn. For the popcorn.
That was an exceptional intro. Thank you for that.
Thanks, man. This studio audience is so responsive here.
I know. I mean, they're like 50 deep over here.
It's nuts. I mean, it's standing room only. They know who's coming in tonight.
That's right. And it's a small room, so 50 is a lot.
And it's hot as hell in here.
Yeah, it's sunny, too.
But I know, I could tell. I can tell you, Blues
it's
Brothers
bright.
over here. Speaking of Blues Brother, right here, my buddy sitting in tonight as a co-host. He's the original hip-hop fisherman. Ladies and gentlemen, this is JayPee Hey right here.
What up?
JayPee Hey. I'm going to tell you guys something. I have a little confession to make here.
What is it?
I got a confession to make. This is a pretty cool gig right here because every Wednesday night we get to talk to some of the coolest dudes in the bass fishing world. Superstars, megastars.
Bassmaster Classic winners.
Bass-tastical fishermen. No doubt. No doubt at all. Do you guys know who's on tonight?
I saw some pictures, but I wasn't sure who it was.
Well, I got something to help you out here.
Okay.
Today's show is not brought to you by Carrabba.
You got some Italian food?
I don't have some Italian food, but I got a little something here. I got a little something for you here. Why don't you put that out there?
Oh.
Yeah, why don't you put that out there, JayPee?
Okay.
And Ginger Ninja, why don't you? That's the producer, the Ginger Ninja.
This is not my favorite candy.
Well, that's okay.
But
hey,
tonight
James,
it
why
is.
don't you hold that up to the camera and show everybody who's coming on tonight? That's right there, ladies and gentlemen. We got Mike Iaconelli in the show tonight. He's Skyping in live. I'm all hopped up on the monster. I'm sorry. I can't help.
I'm gonna eat these.
I can't help myself. But dude, we gotta. I say it every week, and we really do. We got big shows every damn week coming at you live.
Big guests, yeah.
Wednesday night. What do you got going on today, Pop?
And I got John DeMay, DeM Jigs.
John DeMay from DeM Jigs and
the Geneva master.
Tournament fishing
I'm gonna say
monster.
that. Yes.
Local tournament demigod.
Yeah, that dude. Dude's been doing pretty well.
Yeah, the dude is on fire.
He's right over there too.
John DeMay, how you doing? Welcome.
He's
to
on
the
the casting couch.
Welcome to the big show. Welcome to the big show. On the box segment, we have our buddy calling in from West Wisconsin, or he's Skyping in.
Yeah.
From Wisconsin. He is the the maker of the finest swim jig in the land, in my opinion.
Agree.
And that is the Brovarney Baits swim jig.
That's the only swim jig.
It's
really.
outstanding. It is absolutely outstanding. Outstanding. Dan Brovarney coming in today. The Bassin Roundtable with your phone calls later on, and complete.
And the contest winner.
And thank you for reminding me about that, by the way.
No problem.
And the contest winner. But I want to tell y'all something before we get going here. Before I get all hopped up.
Before?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
It's just kicking in. But I want to tell you something, right? You know, I want to tell you what I am. Okay. I am part of Team Nolan. Do you see this right here?
I do see that.
I am part of Team Nolan. Now, you say, what is Team Nolan? Well, Nolan Higgins is my little fishing buddy. He's my fishing buddy, dude. 4-year-old Nolan Higgins is my fishing buddy, and he's a heck of a fisherman. You can see him. You can see him with a real choo-choo snoogin' fatty magoo slubber-degullion of a fish up there on the screen, and whatever that means. Nolan can flat out catch him, but I want to tell you something else. Unfortunately, Nolan has cystic fibrosis. If you do not know what cystic fibrosis is it's a life-threatening disease. It's a genetic disease that affects your breathing, ultimately affects your breathing. And ultimately, there is no cure yet. There is no cure yet for cystic fibrosis. But with your help, we could possibly help to contribute to finding a cure for cystic fibrosis. The cystic fibrosis, this gets me worked up a little bit. Team Nolan is currently raising funds leading into this year's Cycle for Life event on August 20th. Okay, donations go straight to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Now, if the guys got the site up on the screen, if you would like to help out, any contribution would be greatly appreciated. Now I'm going to try and give you the website for those listening, but I'm going to mess this up. I promise that. http://fightcf.cff.org/go/Team Nolan Cycle 2016. We'll be putting the website up periodically throughout the show, and please help contribute to finding a cure for cystic fibrosis. We greatly appreciate that. Hey, all right, let's get on to some bassing. What do you say? We get on to a little bass fishing here now. Guys, we talk about life and we talk about fishing at the beginning of every show.
Is that separate?
Life and fishing are basically the same thing.
Yes.
You are exactly right, Popcorn Whitacre. Do you know what I'm saying, JayPee Hey?
Absolutely.
Hi, JayPee.
What up?
Hi, JayPee.
What up?
Yeah, fishing is life to people like us and to a lot of people like you watching. In fishing, timing is so crucial. Now, we've talked about windows of opportunity before, but I want to differentiate between windows of opportunity and timing. I'm referring to timing as when to go to certain places, whether it be going to a certain body of water or whether it be fishing a certain section of that type of water or that body of water at a certain time. Now, I made a horrible mistake on Saturday regarding timing. I knew where the fish would be when I went fishing Saturday. I was fishing with the Ginger Ninja, our producer, and my buddy Kevin, and I headed right to a flat where I thought there would be some fish. But as I realized, I went there at the wrong time. But it finally clicked in that, you know what? When that sun brings the bait up, that is the time to get there. That's the time to get there. So it's all about evaluating your situations and the proper time to be at a certain spot on the lake, on the river.
Yeah, you can play cat and mouse with them all day. If you're one step behind, you can catch nothing.
Now, how do you determine that? How do you determine that?
History.
History is a great way to tell it, but also there's a certain amount of knowledge that comes from I guess spending particular time.
Yeah, time on the water. That's what I meant when I said history.
Yeah, that's the history. The good old time on the water. JP, how are you at timing?
Terrible.
Terrible?
Yeah.
Well, in your stand-up comedy acts, timing is everything, right?
Oh, I nail it then.
I mean, you're totally all over it when you do the stand-up thing. I know that. I know that's a good deal. But timing means so much in bass fishing, just as it does in life. Like say that you were going to ask out your girl Jen Berg for the first time.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was just after
Killer timing on that, by the way.
I mean, you nailed it, especially with that picture of you and the hammer. The picture of you and the hammer. But
that's not a joke.
But let's say that her pet turtle just got run over by a train.
Right.
That would not be an appropriate time.
That would be the time to change my profile picture to me with a turtle.
With a little snapper turtle.
Right.
So timing is absolutely everything.
Where are we going?
I have no idea. Timing is absolutely everything in life and in fishing. Now, how do you figure out a game plan for the day? You get guys like our first guest today, John DeMay, who is I'm gonna go as far as saying expert at timing the waters of Lake Geneva.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get into this because that Lake Geneva's timing's everything, right, John?
You look at a guy like Mike Iaconelli, our next guest.
Fish in the moment.
Fish in the moment, and understanding what was that tournament that he wrecked them on, the Delaware River.
Delaware River.
Remember how he in that tournament,
the
tides, man, he knew how to time all of that. That element to fishing sometimes gets so overlooked. Everybody's worried about what rod to use, what line, what speed ratio. It's like, dude, were you flipping with a 7.3 or a 7.4 rod? And I'm like, dude, it was 8 foot. You know, I mean, but it does that even matter? There's so many elements of fishing that we look too much at.
Yeah, none of that matters unless you're there at the right time.
None of it matters unless you're there at the right time. That is exactly right. And you need to capitalize on those times by spending time on the water, by doing your research, by doing your homework. And you know what else helps too? Like talking to some of your buddies.
A little bit of luck.
Yeah, a little bit of luck, or like talking to your buddies, unless you sandbag like popcorn over here.
No, I'm not a sandbagger.
He is a notorious sandbagger.
Not at all. I tell too much information.
The popcorn is like, I caught like 40 over there.
Dude, he peels them, man.
He caught like 40 over there. But hey, put it all together. Remember timing. Think about it when you're on the water. Think about how important timing is, and being at the spots where you know that the fish are, but being there at the right time. That's going to help you put more fish in the boat. You know what time it is? It's time to ramble on. It's time to continue to have a good time. This is Straight Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. I'm Pat Renwick. Keep it locked. When we get back, it's John DeMay on Hammer Time with Popcorn Whitacre.
Hey, Illinois fisher people, need insurance? Dave Holman from State Farm has your needs covered. Dave Holman is a local fisherman just like you and would love nothing more to make sure you are covered. Whether you need auto, home, life, health, or boat insurance, Dave has your needs covered. Dave is here for the Illinois fisherman and will get you to a better state, State Farm. Don't hesitate to drop him a line today at 815-669-5359 or visit his website, DaveHolmanInsurance.com. That's Dave, H-O-M-A-N, Insurance.com. Hey, Illinois Fisher Reel Tuning is Chicagoland's #1 reel tuning expert. Whether you need your reel tuned up, souped up, or basic maintenance, Ben Botcher, the Reel Slayer from SlayerReelTuning.com, has your reel needs covered. Ben is the official reel tuner of Stray Casts, and he can customize your reel to your exact specifications, like new ball bearings, drag washers, clean reels, and the latest and greatest handles. When it comes to reels, go to the best and contact Ben, the Reel Slayer, and get your reel tuned to perfection and back in no time. Go to the website, SlayerReelTuning.com. That's SlayerReelTuning.com.
shots. You's a real go-getter. Is a bad man on the run. That's right.
You ever sang that song before?
He's a bad man on the run, and he's gonna protect you with his elephant gun.
What album is that?
And
off,
when
by the
I
way?
say that's Eat 'em and Smile, dude.
Okay.
That's a little Diamond Dave. And when I say elephant gun, I mean 3/4 ounce football jig. That's what I'm referring to. Welcome back,
Okay.
Stray Cats Outdoor Cartoon Television. I'm Pat Renwick, reminding you at 7:30 on the B.A.S. segment of Stray Cats Outdoor Cartoon Television, Mike Iaconelli joins us here live via Skype. But you know what time it is now? It's hammer time.
Sun went down.
It's hammer
Took me down.
time. It's hammer.
It is hammer time.
We are rulers of the storm and the victims of the science age.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. It is hammer time with the one and the only John DeMay. Yeah. Woo. Woo. It's John DeMay. It's John DeMay.
Returning star.
Returning. This is his double down appearance, right?
Yeah, yeah. You know, he wanted it. He wanted another go.
He
So
did.
it's like, let's
He's
go.
welcome. He's welcome.
Let's go.
Well, thanks for having me.
Well,
Yeah.
Glad
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
here, dude. Glad you're here.
So, John,
Yes, sir.
do you like fishing Lake Geneva ever?
Where's Lake Geneva?
Never heard of it.
You know what? Love it. Love every part of it. Love clear water. Love tricking fish in clear water because that means you're doing your job, you know?
Deep water. Deep clear water.
Deep
right?
water and shallow water.
Yeah.
They're
yeah.
everywhere now.
Dude, you the last, 6 weeks, you've been killing it out there. I mean, it's been like, four firsts in 2 seconds?
Yes.
I mean,
With fish?
with,
There's fish in Lake Geneva? They should just drain that place.
yeah, JP,
There's skiers there.
JP loves Lake Geneva. I do too, actually. I'm not being facetious at all either.
It's a good lake. It's a good lake.
Dude, I mean, what? Let me tell you the reason I do not like Lake Geneva, and then I'm gonna ask you why you like it.
It's not the scantily clad babes. is it?
There's no doubt there's a ton of big fish in there, and of both smallmouth, largemouth, everything, muskies, walleyes, whatever, everything's big in there. It's deep, it's clear, but my reasoning for not liking it is because I didn't believe that you could be consistent out there, because in the summertime it's the deep thing most of the time. You get out there deep and it's just like you bounce around from spot to spot. They're all kind of spots, but they're just big kind of areas, and you hope to hit the right spot at the right time. And that's why, I mean, I directed a circuit out there, and it was like we had different winners every week. But now, this year, there's been a trend. I mean, guys have been down. You've been winning consistently. Tyler Lubat was winning consistently until he had to go out of town and fish all these other big events, and then you stepped in and started stealing the cake.
Yes, I did.
Poached him. He poached
What
him.
what is it that's making you be so consistent out there? Because I honestly didn't think it was possible.
It's the elephant gun.
Well, you know what? First of all, it's a team event. Okay, so I'm not going to take 100% of the credit, and I can't because I have a teammate, a partner that.
Who's your partner?
Brandon Daly, and we cut our teeth on Geneva. You know, he fished big bucks when they have big bucks, and I didn't think that we can compete on it until we found out there were 6 fish, and there was a story. You know, we were catching 19 pounds. We're like, oh, it takes 21, 22 to win, and then we found out they were catching 6 fish.
Ah,
And
okay.
he decided to go out and fish with another partner and go do that. When we got together, we fish exactly the same. We know a lot about the lake. And when you guys talked about timing, it's huge, huge. I've helped some buddies out, and I've given them information a little bit here and there. They're fishing a tournament that I'm going to be nowhere around, and I'm giving them a time and an address of where those fish are going to be because of time on the water. You know, knowing
That's
exactly
crazy.
the depth of water that they're going to be in and how they're going to eat it during that period of time. Lake Geneva is notorious for boat traffic. 11:30, boat traffic in certain sections at depths of water are going to affect how those fish feed.
It's like that scene from Caddyshack, you know, with all the boats and the skiers and that guy's out there trying to fish, and
Yep.
then he hooks the boat and gets yanked out of it. That's what Lake Geneva looks like.
It
When
is.
he goes in the golf pro shop, you mean?
No, not that part.
Give me 5 of those naked lady tees, 6 of those. Not that part.
No, not that part.
And not the part where he said last time I saw a mouth like that, it had a hook in it.
No, not
Who?
that part.
And not like when Bill Murray says bark like a dog for me to
Yeah.
to the golfing lady.
You know,
I'll
I'll tell
slack you off.
when
That's
you
not it either.
when you look at Lake Geneva, there is definitely all day long you are casting based on not hitting a boat passing you.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
And it's not. You say 11:30, 11 o'clock, but dude,
No, they're there
that's
10:30.
that's when everybody's driving.
Right.
But the skiers are out at 6.
Oh, we know where the skiers go.
Yeah, they go. Yeah.
And of course the buoys are the barricade that they are going to follow around the lake.
Right. It's a circular. It's a zoo, man.
It is.
Their pattern is just right around the boat.
Yeah. No,
Right.
you know
Over
what?
and
I went
over.
fishing. I went fishing Sunday. I went fishing Sunday with my wife. It was the first time we got on the water together to kind of relax. And I promised I wouldn't fish, but she's like, "Grab your rod, go. I'm going to suntan." As we were backing the boat in, a guy was coming off, and he goes, "Good luck out there." And I said,
Thanks.
"This is the time they're eating, pal. You just left in the wrong zone."
Timing.
It is 100% timing. And honestly, my partner will turn to me and say, "It's 10:30. We got to get to so and so."
Right.
You know,
You got the traffic spots.
and then it's boom, 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 and then nothing, and we know they're done, and we move on.
What's the element of the timing? Like what?
Well, the way, I mean, the boat traffic, it's such clear water.
Right.
I mean, you can take this
it
if you
is.
want, but I think
But if you look at the dynamics of Lake Geneva, it's gin clear. Okay, so what they're going to do is they're going to see the bait better. They're going to see in the clear water when it's calm. They get a good look at it. Now, if I were to tell you that the boat pattern of the boat traffic going along this buoy is running through 7 to 8 foot of water, I put the boat in 10 foot of water. I know that what is happening because I've been up there when the boats are going through. My graph lights up of debris, and the water turns green, and the fish can't see as well. So you're able to swim a jig, you're able to pop a jig, you're able to move it real good and get those fish to bite because they're getting all the bait that was stirred out of their hiding places.
yeah.
So when we pull up to a bank and there's nothing stirred, if the graph isn't just lit up with debris and they're not biting, I know where they are. You know, I know that the trip around Maytag Point going to the beach, they're all going there to get their spots. That's where we're going to be at.
Gotcha. He's giving it away.
He's giving it all away.
He's giving it away.
I'll give it away.
But you know what? He knows it better.
After years and years of finding out where it's going to churn up first, you know, you have 8 hours, 7.5 hours to fish. So you need to find, and then first thing in the morning, you're dealing with the low light. You hope there's some clouds, prolongs the morning, and it does the same thing to the fish. It allows them to eat.
How do you become a buddy that gets the address and time sent to you the night before?
Yeah, do you have an email list?
I got some. Mike Ikes.
You're in.
He's bribing him.
You're,
Have some candy.
You're in. There's some red ones in there too, so you're in.
Nice.
Sweet.
You know what? It's funny because I did a promotional video out there a couple Fridays ago and absolutely swatted them. And the camera guy, and I was like, dude, you got to get the shoreline out of the picture. So I was in shallower water casting out deep on purpose as not to give away some of the spots because I do fish tournaments out there.
Yeah, to clarify what you're talking about, too, on Lake Geneva, every boat dock has an address on it.
Yes,
So all
they
the
do.
addresses, when you're cruising around the lake, you can, especially during the spawn, it's really great because you find one at 9:36 or whatever.
Absolutely.
You're like, "Hey, he's at 9:36. You don't need a GPS.
Right.
You just
And we
drive to the
talk in
address.
code. We talk in code. We're talking,
Right.
let's go to 102 at 12 at 11:30.
Yeah, that's really
And
nice
that's
of them to do
12
that.
That's dock 102 at 12 foot at 11:30. You know, we
Geneva guys.
Yeah, the Geneva guys.
In the know.
you know what? And it's true. Other than the addresses, it's true at a lot of other lakes. I've had great success at Green Lake. They fish very similar.
Oh, great.
I love the river, and
Yeah,
and,
we're going there.
you're on the address list, so, so
Bribe accepted.
yeah, you know, it's rivers baffle me. I mean, if it's green and looks good, I'm going to fish it. I do well at river fishing. I love frog fishing. Guys, there used to be a time where guys would say, "Oh, you can't get the guy off the docks,"
Right.
and I still do that. I still go to docks. Sometimes I'll fish an area and go, "Okay, how shallow are they going?" And I'll drool over that dock.
It's fun, right? I mean, it's
Yeah,
really fun.
it's exciting.
Not so much on Geneva because you lose everything you throw in there.
Yes.
But generally dog fishing.
And my partner and I do an over-under on casts before you lose something, and it's always 2 or 1.
Yeah. Yeah, those docks have rock pile foundations under every single one.
Every single one. And
it's,
it's rock, jig, 2.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like under there if you go under.
Right. What are you throwing out there, John? Are you throwing your jig?
I
You
am.
make some jigs, don't you, right?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. It's a secret that I'm using my jig. It's kind of cool that I made it. It's kind of cool that I use it. It's kind of cool that it's successful.
Absolutely.
You know, I fish it all day long. I mean, every once in a while, just to break up the monotony, just to prove myself right or wrong, I will throw a deep diving crankbait for 6 casts.
Right.
Maybe if a competitor goes by. Be like, yeah, that dude's
He's
catching
the
him on
bagger.
deep diving
Yeah,
crankbait.
he's cranking.
Next thing you
Yeah.
know, he's cranking, you know. But it is the jig, and it's all percentages too. You know, you fish a jig, you fish a jig, you fish a jig. You know that if you do something long enough, you're going to get that timing down. It's kind of like going the right speed on a street. You're either going
Right.
to catch all the lights or you're going to,
Yeah.
you know, go through all the lights.
Right.
So, you know, I told a buddy who's fishing the tournament a couple weekends ago, and he said, just a hint, you don't have to tell me where, you don't have to tell me anything else, just kind of, what am I doing? And I said, stop throwing the drop shot for 2 hours, stop throwing the jig for 2 hours, stop throwing the A-rig for 2 hours, stop that stuff and throw one thing that you know you're going to get bid on for 7.5 hours, and you'll
Right.
get 5 big ones.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that's with tournament fishing. I think a lot of guys just get caught up wanting to catch a lot of fish. I don't know why I said a lot of guys. I don't know a lot of guys. But anyways, I sometimes get caught up in just wanting to catch a lot of fish, and then you don't think about, you just need big ones.
You know what the cool thing about fishing the jig is you know they're going to bite. So the later it gets in the tournament,
Right.
it just gets more exciting, because I turn to my partner often. I go, dude,
It's coming.
it's coming.
Right.
And the last Angler Stream tournament that we won, 5 minutes was left, and we were kind of doing the boat shuffle, getting things kind of squared away while still fishing. I put my life jacket on, called last cast, caught a 5-pounder.
Damn.
And said, you knew that was going to happen,
Right.
because
Right.
the whole day I was saying, it always happens.
It always happens.
It always does.
So it's almost over, so it's got to happen now.
Exactly. And they cut the tournament an hour short.
Right.
For heat. But
And back to the jig. I mean, the reason that you made that thing to fish it.
right.
I mean, on Lake Geneva, so you're making things.
I
to
made it
catch
for
fish
me.
on, so.
I designed it exactly the way I wanted to fish it, so I kind of know how to use it. There are a lot of guys that fish jigs that fish them completely different than I do.
Yeah.
They're successful, and there are other jigs on the market, and
What are you doing?
a lot of stuff. I'm doing a lot of stuff. I'm going to backpedal out of this one. No, I'm doing everything until I get them to eat. When I know they should be eating, if I know they're there, it's all about getting them to, it's about moving that bait a certain way, whether it's swimming it, whether it's dragging it, whether it's hopping it, whether it's whatever you get bit on, duplicate it, and do it the rest of the day.
Right. Right. Just run through the gamut of things that you could possibly do with a jig.
It starts off just letting it sit.
Okay.
The soaker.
The soaker. It starts off because normally we're putting the trolling motor down. Its casts already
Soak
out.
it and let 'em choke it.
Soaking it. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get bit on your first couple casts first thing in the morning. If you know you're around fish, then it's drag it.
So drag.
When the waves start picking up, and I think we talked about this last show, it was about the light show, the disco light show going on down there. When the waves are going by and the wind's refracting and it's the light, and
Saturday
then it's
morning
hopping
fever.
it. And when it's absolutely crazy and you're in a weedy area, we're dropping it and then swimming it.
There it is.
And every once in a while you see a fish boil and you swim it higher. But there's those,
He said it. He said it.
yeah, it's a top water jig fish.
Shenanigans.
How do you fish a 1.5 ounce jig on top water? But that's all. I know that's you got to keep some stuff, but that's what you're doing.
No, I'll tell you.
I know
You
there's
asked
you
me,
can't
I'll
do
tell you.
anything with it. You're not putting it on an A rig. It's throwing a jig.
It is. And
And-
you know what? It's light line. It's light line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the buddy that I was fishing with a few weeks ago when we did the production, I told him bring a medium heavy rod and 12-pound test, and he went, "What?" He said, "I don't think I have one of those for a jig."
I like
And
that guy.
I said, "You know what? No, I understand it. You know what? I understand it because that was
Look
me."
at JP.
Yeah.
But when you switch to 15,
That's my problem.
When you switch to 15-pound test on a heavy action rod and you get bit half the amount of times, you can change it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're drop shotting a jig with 12-pound. That's what you're doing.
Right. Awesome stuff, John. That's I'm gonna have to watch this back and take notes. Actually,
Yeah.
dude, thanks for
I got
coming on
notes right
again,
here.
John. We're right on the break.
Awesome.
Anybody you want to thank? Anyone you gotta say hi to?
Just my wife. Just my wife.
Hi, John's wife.
My partner Brandon too, but he doesn't talk to me unless we're on a boat.
You already gave him
Hi,
props.
Rachel.
And DemJigs.com.
Dem-
DemJigs.com. Some phenomenal jigs.
And we're gonna do a little special with your thing.
With my thing.
With your organization for Cystic. I'm gonna.
Awesome, dude.
We'll
Nolan.
discuss it. You can proclaim it. We're going to do like a week of sales. All the proceeds will go to that.
That's phenomenal. Thank
Okay,
you so
awesome.
much, John.
You're
That's
more than
good
welcome.
stuff, dude. Good stuff. Hey, John, you're going to stick around for the Bassin Roundtable at the end of the show?
Absolutely.
We would love to have you. Hey, this is Stray Cats Outdoor Cartoon Television. I'm Pat Renwick, Ryan Whitacre. We got JayPee Hey, hi, sitting in for Bobby Bergeron tonight. When we get back, it's legendary bass fishing superstar Mike Iaconelli right here on the Bass Buzz segment. Keep it locked. Don't go nowhere. We're coming right back.
I wish there was a jig that I could flip, swim, and drag with.
You need DeM Jigs.
Yeah, I do need them jigs.
Not them jigs, DeM Jigs.
Oh!
Custom hooks, hand-tied living rubber skirts, and an indestructible chip-proof head. Available in both football and the flip swim style. Jigs built out of a necessity for the serious fisherman. Like DeM Jigs on Facebook or order online at demjigs.com. That's DEMjigs.com.
Take your fishing to the next level with Stank X Bait Company's soft plastic baits. Stank X is a family-owned and operated soft plastic company for Midwest anglers, and their goal is to make baits for anglers that are soft yet durable and continue to help you put more fish in the boat. Stank X has a full selection of soft plastics to suit your style of fishing. Every bait is handmade by Travis Crossman, and he makes sure that every bait is flawless. Check out their next-level plastics that are airbrushed to perfection for ultra-realistic paint jobs and fish-catching action. Check out the full line of products at StankXBaitCompany.com. That's Stank, the letter X, baitco.com.
PH Custom Lures by Phil Hunter quickly becoming the most sought-after custom balsa baits in the industry, from the Little Hunter to the Squeaky P. These baits are pure quality, handcrafted, hand-carved, and hand-painted. But most importantly, they flat-out catch fish. PH Custom Lures has a bait for any situation in a magnitude of colors. Check out the Old School, Straighter, and PH Custom series at phcustomlures.com. That's phcustomlures.com.
How did you change your body? I mean, like just really working out? Mm-hmm. Could you take...
I did martial arts a lot and full contact karate and weights. And
Could anybody do that? Could you take these two here?
come on, say what you really think, huh?
Could you change anybody's body with enough time? Seriously.
Sure, yeah, definitely. Yeah. It just takes determination, hard work, and good instructor.
How did you change your body?
This is absolutely amazing.
We've gone back in time.
Yes, you gotta get back in time. This is the. Welcome again to the Freak Show on the dance floor. This is Stray Cats Outdoor Cartoon Television. This is the Bass Buzz segment of the show. Thank you very much for sticking with us, ladies and gentlemen. I guess you can't figure out who our guest is tonight, but it's the one and the only, the Jersey Devil himself. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Iaconelli. Yes. Woo!
Hi.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi.
Mike. How you doing?
How are you?
What's going on, dude? Hey, thanks for coming on the show, dude. I want to tell you that first off. And, for those of you out there watching, I think there's like 2 people watching now, Mike. So we're talking to those 2 people. So basically, for those of you that don't know, Mike Iaconelli, Bassmaster Classic champion,
2003,
Bass Angler of the Year. He's fished in a couple
2006.
Forest Wood Cups. You kick ass on the Major League Fishing. You're a television star. You're an author, and you are also the billboard model for Louis Vuitton in Tijuana, Mexico. Not a lot of people know that about you, but you really, but you are. and Mike, you know, when you look back at all this, did you ever think a hooligan like yourself would be where you are today, dude?
No, I didn't think. No, I didn't. Honestly, it's kind of surreal every day. But I didn't think I could make a living in the sport of fishing. I really didn't. I mean, that's a tough undertaking, and you know, almost 20 years later, I'm still doing it. So I don't know. Lucky, I guess.
Dude, I mean, it's more than luck. Let me tell you sincerely, you were inspiring to so many anglers out there. You are an inspiration, okay? And I mean that sincerely. And I want to tell you a little story, okay? I'm going to bring you back about, I guess I'm going to bring you back about 10, 11 years ago, okay? And there's me, a little 33-year-old Pat Renwick on in my
young buck.
Yes, on my it's Christmas Eve. I'm in my onesie. I'm in my little onesie getting ready for Santa Claus. And I go to bed with visions of sugar plums in my head. And I wake up the next day, and I pitter-patter down the stairs. And what's in my stocking? What's in my stocking? I'm going to show you what's in my stocking. This isn't going to get dirty. I'm going to keep it clean.
Okay.
Please keep what's in your stocking to yourself.
But what's in my stocking is this little book right here. That's
the book right that,
here.
Took all my money away.
Yeah, and I want and my family paid $22 for this back in 2005.
Ooh.
So how much did you get of that, Mike?
I got a bunch free, so I don't know.
but seriously, I'm going to tell you something about that book. That is the first book on bass fishing that I actually read that day, cover to cover, since I was 10 years old and read Roland Martin's 101 Bass Catching Secrets back in the day. You know?
That's awesome.
This, and I, again, sincerely mean this. I'm not blowing smoke at you, dude. That this book right here is one of the best books on bass fishing that compared... the only thing better than this is the lost Rick Clunn manuscripts. I'm gonna put it frankly.
And they're really good.
Those are real good. They're like the Temple of the Ark or the
Yes,
Covenant.
I have them. They're very good.
You remember those?
I do. Yeah, Byron Velvick was also a writer on those. I don't know if you remember that.
I do not.
Yeah, Byron Velvick did some guest writing on those manuscripts. But
wow. Okay, that's ringing a bell now.
Yes.
But the whole seasonal pattern thing and the evolution of the angler, and that was very inspirational to me as well as to you, I know.
Me too. Big time.
I mean that's good stuff. And bringing it back to inspiration, I've enjoyed reading this book, and truthfully, there's a lot of moments, milestones of your career that are highlighted throughout this. Now I'm going to tell you the one that sticks out the most to me. And this could be the spawn of the Never Give Up saga. That right here is, I recall reading about you taking a little nap in the Tules or in the bulrushes. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. And you waking up to what you described as a moment of clarity. A moment of clarity.
Yeah.
That went on to you find the winning spot in the 2003 Bassmaster Classic. Tell us about that, Mike, please.
Yeah, it's it's funny because as you were describing it, I lived it, I wrote it, hadn't thought about it a while, and as you were describing it, it was actually getting chills again. I honestly felt goosebumps on my arms. It was one of those weird things. Up to that point, I had never fallen asleep in a boat, especially practicing for a major event like that. Man, I fell asleep. There was so much stuff going on in my life at that point. I was getting ready to go through a divorce. I had just my uncle had just battled cancer. there were so many things going on in my life. I felt like, I honestly felt like that was going to be my last tournament I ever fished in my life. I was going to fish a classic, and I was going to leave it.
You're going to hang it up.
And hang it up. And a big storm rolled through. We're in the marsh. There's no docks to get under. There's no bridges to hide under. I basically jammed into the reeds, the rosa cane, whatever you want to call them, and made a canopy and fell asleep. And about 30 minutes later, I woke up, and I just had this uncontrollable urge to keep going, to keep hunting, to keep trying. Even though everything around me was going to shit, I wanted to keep pushing. And literally, the next place I went to was this really long canal. And as I went up it, it got so narrow I had to come off pad. And I vividly remember thinking, God, should I turn around? Should I keep going? I just kept going and going. And I just barely pushed through to what was kind of like a pond or a small lake. And man, I shut the motor off and just drifted in. And it was like before I ever made a cast, I looked around, looked at the water clarity, I saw mullet jumping. I'm like, I just knew. It just had this weird feeling that something magical just happened. And that was the winning spot. And I found the winning spot at that very moment, literally after I fell asleep, after that storm passed. And it's incredible. You can't explain stuff like that. It's freaky. And the longer I live, the more I know that, when stuff's meant to happen, it's going to happen. And that was one of those things. It was, it was meant to be, to find that spot in that moment in time. And it was a strange deal.
You found the heart, dude. You called it the heart, and you found it right there. In a turmoil of hell, in the mass chaos of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, you managed to find the winning spot of the 2003 Bassmaster Classic.
Yeah. It was. I mean, if anybody's ever gone through a divorce, and I'm sure a lot of your listeners and viewers have, if you've gone through a family member coming close to dying, it feels like hell. It's an emotional roller coaster,
And again, man, that's like the I'm sure you felt the feeling of not wanting to give up before, but that, I mean, it's for you as far as your angling career and the catchphrase, never give up. Is that the beginning of it? Is that the deal right there from that 2003 Classic?
It is. I mean, it goes a little before that. Again, I keep referencing my uncle Don, who's almost like my dad. He's really much a father figure to me. Started battling cancer, I think, in 2002. So, a year later, when he was free and clear, which was right around this time, that was really in the forefront of my mind. Watching, he was actually stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. Oh, no. And to battle through that, and he's still here today. He was here today watching my kids.
Nice.
Watch the kids today. That's they're the kind of things that stick with you and give you inspiration in your life. And he did for that saying for me, and that's the first place that it was really, the last fish catch, which happened on the third day, in the last couple minutes before I had to make a 2.5-hour run back to the ramp. I caught a 3.5 pounder and called about a fish that weighed about a pound, and that was the winning fish. And that, that phrase was caught on film that time, and it just stuck with people. It stuck with me,
Absolutely, and I mean, that phrase right there is an inspiration to so many fishermen out there.
Is there a more popular phrase in
I
bass
don't think
fishing?
there's a more popular phrase in bass fishing than never give up.
Other than, oh, man, he come off.
Yeah, it's like, man, instead of like, man, my water was muddied up or I'd have caught him. I mean, that's another popular phrase. But seriously, never give up. Talking about inspirational derbies, that 2003 Classic, let's jump ahead. You win the Angler of the Year 2006. Then you win the Derby on the Delaware River. But this week, maybe one of the most inspirational or important derbies of your career is going to take place this weekend, isn't it?
It is. August 6th, which is this Saturday. I'm actually hosting the first tournament I've ever hosted in my entire life, and we're holding a tournament. Usually I'm fishing them, and this one I'm hosting it. And it's for a foundation that we started. It's called the Ike Foundation. And man, it's interesting because it's come full circle for me. You know, the Delaware River, and this is where the tournament's at. So out of the Camden waterfront on the Delaware River. It's the place that I learned how to fish, the place I grew up fishing. Years later, when the elites came here in 2014, I got the win here, and now I thought it just felt right to hold our first tournament here, and it's special because it's what better place than the city of Camden, which is a typical urban city. It's gone through some struggles. A lot of the kids in the city of Camden, the city of Philadelphia, have never, and I'm saying never, touched a rod and reel in their life. That's a shame. You know, I mean, these are kids from 4 or 5 years old up to teenagers that have never experienced the sport. And what a better place to have our first event than the city of Camden. And this is part tournament, part family fun festival where kids are going to cast and fish. And it's we've got a dinner where we're going to raise money and do a silent auction. And it's all about getting new kids involved in the sport. So, I'm happy about a lot of the things I've done in my career, but this is next level stuff for us, for me and my wife. This is giving back. This is helping try to grow the sport that we love, the sport that's been so good to us, and I'm stoked about it. It's going to be great.
You're paying it forward, Mike, and that's the evolution of the angler, just like Rick Clunn talked about.
Yeah.
I mean, sincerely, it really is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the deal. And you got some big names coming to this derby. I mean, you got Homer Circle, Stan Fragerstrom. You have the ghost of Doug Hannon will be making an appearance.
I'm sure he's going to be there. We've got a beer garden, so he'll probably be there.
Yeah, I mean, you put the signals out to the Bass universe. I know that. But seriously, you got a lot of people, a lot of big names coming, dude. I mean, throw a few out. Drop a few names, man.
Yeah, well, we've got a great cast of people. I mean, we've got Zona and Mercer and Kevin Van Dam and Brandon Polinick. We've got the who's who of fishing. Jordan Lee. We've got a lot of guys that are coming out not to support me, but to support youth fishing and getting kids involved in fishing, and that's pretty amazing. And hats off to those guys for coming out, taking a day out of their life to support this. And we got a lot of sponsors supporting it. The city of Camden, the city of Philadelphia supporting it. It's great because everybody sees the vision. If we don't get kids involved, if we don't start from the bottom up, there will not be a next generation of anglers. They're all going to be playing Pokemon and falling in the river.
Yeah, exactly. There's Pikachus and Charizards
right.
and Squirtles everywhere.
Right.
We don't even know what to do. We don't even know what to do. Hey, I'm gonna switch gears a little bit, Mike. I'm gonna switch gears. I'm an idea man. I think you know that about me. You could probably tell. I'm a thinker.
Yes.
And I run a lot of ideas. I happen to manage Brandon Polinick. I'm his manager. You might not know that, but yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, ask Brandon when you see him this week. Tell him, ask him about the Bermuda Triangle, and say Pat, his manager, wants to know about it.
Okay.
Right? Remember that, please. Ask him about the Bermuda Triangle.
I will. We're going to have an Ike Live on Friday night before our event. This Friday, 2 days away, and we're going to have Brandon in studio, so I'll ask him live.
Yeah, ask him about about that maniac with the long hair from the Bass Buzz show about the Bermuda Triangle.
I'll ask him.
He'll tell you all about it. He'll tell you all about it. But here's an idea I got for you. Okay, I'm gonna help you rebrand yourself right now.
All right.
Are you cool with that?
I'd love to be rebranded.
Okay, here it is. So we're gonna make you have been a star in many ways. Yes, I do. Ginger Ninja, the producer, is asking me questions. But we're going to make you, you've been a star in many ways. I want to make you a star of the silver screen now, Mike.
Okay.
Okay, are you down with that?
I'm definitely.
Okay, here's my idea. First of all, we got a little setting, and this isn't a town comprised of all bass anglers. Okay? And Trip Weldon is basically he's the mayor of the town. Okay? Trip's the mayor. Okay,
that's scary.
Mayor Weldon. We'll call him Mayor Weldon. And Mayor Weldon does not like dancing. He does not like dancing, especially on the decks of bass boats.
Oh.
Okay. So what you are forced to do, Mike, is to pull your bass cat into abandoned warehouses at night and breakdance on the deck of your Bass Cat.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, that's all I got so far, but that's like the beginning idea of it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm gonna give you some creative control. So if you want to finish that whole little segment there, I mean, we can make a whole motion picture out of this.
Yeah, I love it. Can I jump right in and just get right into one of the scenes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know we'll get Kenny Loggins in there for the soundtrack.
Go ahead.
I know. We do need some of that. Here it goes. Jenny, I know your dad doesn't like dancing, but this is the best place we could find. This abandoned warehouse. The front deck of my Bass Cat. It's going to become our dance platform. Let's go. Cut in pelvic thrust.
Yes.
Jenny, you feel that? You feel that hot heat?
See, is this not a great idea or what?
That's a great idea. I'm totally into it, man. I'm getting into this character right now.
See, I am rebranding you right now as a star of the silver screen. Yes, that's the deal.
I can see Tripp being a killer mayor to angry mayor.
Angry Mayor Weldon. He's heartless.
And his daughter loves me and wants to have sex with me.
Yeah, that's awful. That's absolutely
awful. Makes it even worse.
Hey, with that one, we're right up against a break. Mike, you want to stick around? We'll come back for segment number 2.
Okay.
Excellent. Straight Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television, the Bass Buzz segment. I'm Pat Renwick. More Iaconelli when we get back. See you in a minute.
29 pounds, 3 ounces!
Edwin Evers here, 2016 Bassmaster Classic champion. In celebration of Lowrance winning the last 5 Bassmaster Classics, we're going to extend the Ultimate Upgrade promo. If you buy an HDS Gen 3 with Structure Scan 3D, we're going to mail you a $300 rebate. 5 Bassmaster Classic champions in a row. That doesn't happen by chance. That happens because these units are the best.
Welcome back. Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. I am a victim of the science age.
Ike is a victim. Yeah.
A traveler of the storm. And so is our guest right here, the one and only Mike Iaconelli, back on the Bass Buzz segment of Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon. Hey, where's our live? There's our live studio audience. There they are. Hey, you guys need to get a live studio audience on that. You need a live studio audience on Ike Live, Mike.
Well, we've got this little. This is our producer, so amazing that he has this little thing he got in his stocking at Christmas, and here's our clap.
Yes.
I like that. Oh, that's so much cooler than ours.
Yeah.
Technology.
Those are like golf claps almost.
Larry didn't like it.
Oh God.
So Mike, let's get technical. We got to get a little bit technical about some things here because some people do want to hear some fishing stuff. I mean, unfortunately, that happens here on these fishing shows. But we kind of have a jig theme today. It's Jigapalooza. The jig is up, and we got our buddy John. He's a John from DeM Jigs, a local jig maker, and Brovarney Jigs. He's a swim jig specialist.
Oh yeah.
And I know that you love to fish you a jig. All right. And now, everybody know we talk a little bit as we did it about flip. How did the rap go again? How did the little beatbox deal go at the beginning of the show? Flip,
swim, drag a jig. Flip, swim, drag a jig.
Flip, swim, and drag it, or something like that. But if you had to pick one method now, and only one method of fishing a jig, I know it's hard to do. I know it's hard. But are you a jig flipper? Are you a jig swimmer? Are you a jig pitcher? Are you a jig caster or dragger? What are you?
What you just said is why the jig is one of my favorites, which is it's so hard to pick one method. It's one of the baits where you could really fish it a lot of ways. If you look at a topwater or a crankbait, they're pretty much one-dimensional. But a jig is so versatile. I mean, I can think of 5-6 ways I like to fish it, and that's without changing anything. The same bait, just fish different ways. But if I had to pick one way, it would basically be what I call power fishing that jig, and that's basically I'm throwing at a target, I'm letting it sink in, I'm hopping it once or twice, I'm pulling it out, and I'm making the next cast. It's not slowing down, and really what I'm doing with the jig, power fishing a jig, is I'm eliciting a reaction strike, and it's a numbers game. If I can hit 100 targets in the course of a day, and all the other dudes can only hit 50, my chances of catching a bass are a lot greater. It's just a law of averages, and so a jig that's heavy and falls fast is one of my favorite jigs. Pitch it in, hop it twice, move on, and that's if I had to pick one style, that would be my favorite. I fish a little jig by Missile Jigs called Mini Flip. And it's a half ounce, but it's compact. It's small. It's got a thin skirt and falls really fast. And power fishing with that thing is one of my favorite ways to catch them.
What's your favorite setup for throwing that jig?
There's a lot of different rods that you can use for different situations. But one rod, one reel, one line choice. Here it goes. It would be a 7.2 medium heavy casting rod. I designed one for Abu Garcia. It's an Ike Series 7.2 power rod. That's my rod. And the 7.2 medium heavy has a little bit of tip. The biggest mistake jig fishermen make is using a broomstick for jig fishing.
Sure.
You want a little bit of tip. You want about 20% of that rod, 20% of the top of the rod to actually have a little flex. Reel, I want a low profile, fast gear ratio reel. I use a Revo MGX, and it's got a 7.9-to-1, super fast. I want that line pickup when I'm jig fishing. And then line, man, there's so much talk of super line and braid, but give me a 17-pound or 20-pound fluorocarbon on that setup, and I'm in good shape.
You're dialed in, dude. And I want to say, I'm on the Pure Fishing team myself, and I am really excited about that new MG Extreme. I mean, I'm sure you got your hands on them.
It's sexy,
Yes,
real.
It's a
I've only got one, but it weighs 4.3 ounces. The new one's got the Portuguese cork, round handles on them. Dude, it honestly kind of disappears in your hand, which sounds weird, but when you start fishing it, it feels like it just becomes an extension of your body, and that's that's the ultimate. When you forget the rod and reels there, you're pitching, you're flipping, your hook sets, everything becomes a lot easier. Yeah, it's a pretty badass reel.
It sure is, and our equipment has evolved so much over the years, which brings me to my next question to you, Mike. What evolution of bass fishing has been most helpful to you in your success as a bass angler? What technological advance or evolution of fishing? What's your little ace in the hole, dude?
Yeah, what's interesting is it's a great question, because what's interesting is the technology that has helped me the most has also hurt me the most.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to explain it. And it's basically, I would say it's the electronics, right? The GPS, the sonar, the structure scan technology that everybody has access to nowadays is the gift and it's the curse. It's the gift because with my Lowrance HDS 12, man, I can see things, find things that took me days and weeks to find before. I can find them in hours now, in less than an hour. The GPS technology, the mapping, dude, you can find that juicy little break, that contour drop, that hole in the flat so quick and easy now. So it's a gift. It's really helped me a lot, in the last 10 years. But it's also a curse because everybody has it. Everybody has, accessibility to this technology. So I can remember back in the 80s and 90s, before that technology was around, dude, the only way you could find those spots, you had 2D. Guys were still using flashers, but you had 2D sonar. There was no GPS. You had to look at a paper map. You had to kind of guess where you were at, and you had to just work your ass off. Zigzagging, idling, fishing. You had to let the fish tell you where they were at. You had to work to find the magic spots. And that was a gift for me back then because I like to work. I like to put the time in. And now, everybody's got the same technology, so it works in reverse a little bit, you know. And what makes it easier for me is also making it easier for the general public and the other pros. So
and all those young bucks coming in now with your knowledge that they didn't have without the technology.
It's amazing. They're very talented young anglers coming up that understand technology better than I understand it. They accept it more than I accept it. But what a lot of the young guys don't have is that I don't even know what to call it. It's that ability to find fish without the tools, and a lot of the older guys, and I'm not even me in particular, but Klon and Larry Nixon. I know you've had Larry Nixon on the show before.
Sure.
And those guys they have the innate ability to find them without any of that technology. So you give them the technology, and dude, they can still catch them.
Yeah, absolutely. Nixon's amazing. And we kind of talked about this a little with Nixon, too. And I was joking with him about him having to go out there with the Buck Perry spoon plugs to find the fish back in the day, before the sonar. And Larry was like, I used to be able to catch them offshore all the time, but now everybody can. And it's the same kind of deal. It's the same deal. Hey,
yeah.
Now you spent some time in Philly in your life, dude. Are you an Always Sunny in Philadelphia TV show fan?
I like the show. I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not a TV sitcom series kind of guy at all. Even when the Evil Dead series came out on Stars, and Evil Dead is my show, I couldn't keep up with it just because I don't know. I'm not a TV guy, but I do love that show, and for sure love the city of Philadelphia. Yeah. It's I grew up in New Jersey, but I consider Philadelphia my home city.
And you're gonna smash you some cheesesteaks over there in Camden, right?
Oh God, I love a cheesesteak. Oh man, my wife's in the other room listening to me right now. She's getting mad at me because the big inner tube gut is starting to really pop out. I love me some cheesesteaks. Oh my God.
And people don't understand a real cheesesteak. You know what I mean? I mean the real cheesesteak with the fake melted cheese on it.
Oh yeah. No, I mean Hey, if you're in Philadelphia, go to Pat's or Geno's, either one, great cheesesteaks, and you go there and you order, and you say you want a cheesesteak, and they say wit or without, and most people look at them like, what, and you want it with fried onions or without fried onions, and man, it's great. It's I've gotten cheesesteaks in Alabama and Texas, in the Midwest and the West Coast. They ain't the same, bro.
It ain't like Philly, is it?
It ain't the same.
There's something special. It's like here in Chicago, we have that famous pizza,
Right.
I mean, it's that deep dish pie that we have here in Chicago, and there ain't nothing like it anywhere.
Right.
Anyway, back to the fishing, Mike.
And you have Kanye West.
Yes, we do. He's an avid bass angler, actually, Kanye.
Is he?
Did you know Kanye's a 10%er?
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, he gets 10% off culprit worms, so he's on their pro staff.
His tour bus is wrapped in culprit.
Yes, he's got the culprit. He's a 10%er. He's a Bass Pro because he gets all kinds of sponsorship from people like that.
It's amazing.
Yeah, you didn't know that, did you? I'm educating you right now, Mike.
I didn't know that. It must have something to do with his wife. I don't know.
It's something there. Hey, you of course are the host of Ike Live, which is by far the most popular web fishing cast in the universe right now. We bow down in comparison to the Ike Live show. And also you have Going Ike, which is a real cool deal, man. I like to see the raw Ike fishing, dude.
Yeah, it's very exciting. The Going Ike is, to me, it's really the next platform that we really are trying to grow, and it's it's content, and we're trying to really put out there a story of what happens during the course of a day. And I don't want to. I'm not saying anything against any TV show or content that's already out there, but a lot of it is they'll fish 3 days a week to try to just get fish catches. And Going Ike is very much about the experience in the course of a day of fishing. And that's why we all do it. And that's what Going Ike is. It's a web series right now. It's live on the web on the Going Ike YouTube channel. And it's getting ready to go to phase 2 next year. And without giving away any specifics on it, it's going to remain a web series, but you're going to get to see it on national TV starting second quarter of 2017. So it's exciting. Going Ike's a great project for us, and it fills a missing void. You know, we used to do a TV show called City Limits Fishing, which was great, and we loved it. We actually came to Chicago for one. It was a great show, and it went away. And Going Ike is the new City Limits. It's going to replace that show.
Can I jump in and ask a question?
Go ahead, JP. Hit him.
You know, the original Going Ike, you put out that video kind of challenging people.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, come challenge. Give me a challenge. You know,
Yeah.
We responded. The cast crew responded. I challenge you to come catch a bass, jump on a bus, catch a different bass. What happened?
City challenge.
Well, we actually, and back then when you submitted that, I just chickened out because you guys were going to kick my ass. What? Flash forward.
I was sharpening every hook, man.
I know, but flash forward to 2016, this fall, when we're shooting the new season. Going Ike now is not about a challenge, but it's about meeting people and fishing with them. So I would still love to take you up on that, but I don't want to compete against you because you kick my ass.
JP's a monster.
Come to my city, bro.
I want to fish with you as a partner. I want to be a team out there and fish.
Let's do it.
No, JP's a monster, and these guys are the original urban anglers right here. Popcorn, Whitacre, and JayPee.
I think he's
Hey.
the original urban angler. But
I'm talking about the Chicagoland area. I mean, these guys got the whole dang thing going. They started it up off the bat, man.
it's good. It's good down here from shore, man. I mean, can you ride a skateboard, Ike?
I can ride I used to ride a skateboard a lot in I want to say early to mid 80s. Actually, my first skateboard was by an old skater, Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah.
I think later in life he was actually charged with murder or something. I don't know, but I don't know if you remember that guy. But anyway, I did ride a skateboard. I skated. I was in the BMX. I was in the freestyle. I don't think I was really good at any of those, but I love them. I can relate to them very much.
Well, how about this? You come to Chicago. We'll get on some skateboards. We'll cruise the shore, and we'll catch some big brown ones.
I would love to do that. And listen to me. That would make a freaking killer show. Would it not?
There it is.
Would it not?
We've been wanting to do it.
Awesome show. It would make an awesome show. And you know what we're trying to do, and I know what a lot of us are trying to do, you guys too, is we're trying to reach new people. We're trying to cross over. We're trying to grab people in that don't love fishing and grab them into our world. And man, what a better way to do it than incorporate a little skating into it. I mean, it'd be badass.
Absolutely phenomenal, and that's the dude. These are the dudes right there to do it with. Hey, now is that the same thing that I had read about, that you're going to be involved in some reality television show? Is that the same thing with Going Ike? Is that different?
I don't know what you read. Maybe I don't know. Is my wife signing contracts that I don't know about?
Yeah, did I let something out of the bag? But no, you're going to be on some True TV or something.
Well,
like
yes, we were on. We actually
that happened.
Yes, we taped with True TV. We went up to New York City and taped with them, and they have a show called Beck. What's that show called? Greatest Sports Moments, which is a series on True TV. You can find it if you go to TrueTV.com. You can pull it up. And so one of the greatest sports moments was celebrations, and they selected me as one of the athletes to come on and talk about how I celebrated. And it was very flattering. It was an honor to go up there and represent the fishing world and do that show. So it was cool.
Awesome. Hey, Mike, we're just about out of time here, but again, I want to thank you so much for coming on this train wreck and having a little bit of fun with us, because it was sure a lot of fun for us. I'll tell you that, dude.
I appreciate it, guys. I'd love to come on anytime. And guys, keep doing what you're doing. It's a great show.
Well, thanks, and you too, man. And why don't you grow your hair back out, Mike, like back in the day? Come on.
I might. I don't know. I keep wanting to. I got a little thin spot on the top, but I'd like to grow the back.
I do too, but you can put earphones over it there. That's what I do. I put the headphones on, and then we'll come out and we'll do a podcast together. We'll do a long hair guy webcast.
I'd like to do that with you.
Hey, Ike, if people want to donate to the Ike Foundation, where do they go?
Yeah, that'd be great. If anybody out there listening or watching wants to donate, and that could be, $1, $10, whatever, or product. If you've got old fishing rods and reels in your garage, they're collecting dust, please, we'll take that stuff. We'll repurpose it, we'll clean it, and we'll get it to kids. Go to the IkeFoundation.org. That's THE, the IkeFoundation.org. You get all the information there, and we'd really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you very much, Mike, and best of luck with the charity event coming up this weekend. Thanks again, dude.
Thanks, guys, and I'm going to leave you one thing.
Sure.
Flip, swim, jig. 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 Flip, swim, jig.
It's a hit. It's a hit. It's a hit. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Straight Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. That concludes the Bass Buzz segment. I'm your host, Pat Renwick, Ryan Popcorn Whitacre, JayPee Hey. We're coming right back with swim jig expert Dan Brovarney in the box.
Want some more exclusive JDM tackle? Join JDMTackleMembersOnly.com. This is a brand new membership website that gives their members the exclusive rights to custom limited edition Japanese baits in colors that cannot be purchased anywhere else. Sign up now and you will receive 2 free Mega Bass Vision 110s in Kasumi Tiger and Smallmouth Bass. That's totally worth the membership. Go to JDMTackleMembersOnly.com today. Where do you go for all the hard-to-find Japanese domestic tackle? Lee's Global Tackle, the connection for all the hottest baits and lures straight from Japan. Lee's Global Tackle has 2 locations, the main store in Elk Grove Village, Illinois, and our other store in Carroll Stream, Illinois. Stop in at Lee's Global Tackle and meet John Moy. He'll show you some of the coolest baits not available anywhere else. Catering secret tournament winning baits to the fishing community for over 17 years.
Swim jig technique is one of the most successful ways to put fish in the boat. Time in and time out, Brovarney Baits swim jigs are just the right tool for the job. Beaming with quality, the Brovarney swim jigs come in a myriad of colors, feature the best premium hooks and solid trailer keepers to give you, the serious bass angler, the confidence you need to accomplish your goal of putting more fish in the boat. So go to BrovarneyBaits.com and start climbing the ladder to swim jig success.
Look out! Welcome back. Straight Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. I'm Pat Renwick. Ryan Popcorn Whitacre to my right, and to my left, sitting in tonight for Roberto Berggren, is JayPee Hey. JayPee Hey. Hey, who do we have? Tom Mansour on now? Is that who's coming on?
No, that's. I can see how you could make that mistake.
Isn't it? It's Tom Mansour. Isn't
It's Dan Brovarney.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Dan Brovarney from Brovarney Swim Jigs.
Hello.
Yes.
Tom Mansour is much better looking than me.
I don't know about that.
How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing quite well.
Thank you for standing by. We had a few technical problems. Something crazy.
I just got out of rod and practiced flipping and skipping and pitching here in the.
Nice. Dan Brovarney is a swim jig specialist, and he is the forefather of Brovarney Baits, who, in my opinion, makes the finest swim jig in the land. Okay, and I mean that sincerely. I've been, and I'm not just saying this because you're a sponsor of the show, but I was throwing a competitor's brand for years, and you guys turned me on to this bait, and I want to tell you what, the only problem I have is the fish keep chewing them up. The fish just keep chewing them up. That's the deal. Now, one more thing before we get rolling, Dan. For years and years, I did not like to talk about swimming a jig. Okay, I lived in Florida for years, and there were guys winning lots of money, and I was winning a little bit of money in Florida swimming a jig. And how were you catching them? On a jig. How'd you catch them? On a jig. But we didn't tell people that we were actually swimming the jig. Then all of a sudden it blows up. It blows up out of the sky.
Who blew it up, anyways?
You know, I mean, that dude at the Classic that Skeet Reese won, Jamie
Freilich.
Jamie Freilich really started talking
That's
about
right.
swimming the
Yeah.
jig. In 2000, I believe it was 2000 or 1999.
That year?
There was a major tournament, FLW tournament, won swimming a jig, but up until the Freilich thing, not a lot of people really talked about it, but it was going on. It was going on, and now everybody is swimming a jig, but there is a special art to swimming a jig. Isn't that correct, Dan?
I think the art to swimming the jig is to do it. I mean, I've got guys up in Michigan that are swimming them in early December in 25 feet of water through schools of bluegill and just whacking the heck out of them.
Really?
There are guys that are down in Florida swimming through the pad beds. Guys in Texas that are buying, they're buying 8-ounce swim jigs. What the heck are you doing? I finally call them up. What is this all about? And they're putting a horny toad on it. They're throwing it as far as they can into the pad fields and slow rolling it over the pads, dropping it in the pockets, pulling it over, dropping it, pulling it over, and it's a lure that you can use and be creative with. You can fish it in 2 foot of water, 1 foot of water, slop fields, deep water, clear water. I've got guys in Lake St. Clair that are running bright chartreuse ones, and they're just going down the weed
I wrecked them
lines.
on St. Clair just a couple weeks ago on your jig.
And you know, every time I get a call, you know, these guys will tell me stuff they won't tell their wives. So, you know, I mean, you know, a little trick here, a little trick there. Seasonal trailers. I mean, that's the neat thing with a swim jig is you start out early in the season with one trailer, and sort of as the season goes on, progress through a series of trailers, and it becomes a whole new presentation on a weekly basis.
Well, what are those trailers? Talk to us a little bit.
Well, early season, big double-tailed trailer. Something in a, you know, whether it's a pocket craw or a Zoom Super the 10-inch twin trailer. In Wisconsin, anything in electric blue early in the season. They just kill it. You know, after that, the fish start to get ready to spawn. Something that you can target the beds with, whether it's a straight tail or a small little dipper or little missile baits that you can more target things with.
Gotcha.
Then when the fish, when the bucks start guarding fry, anything that's any swim bait that makes it do a wide waddle, you pull it through those schools of fry and they can't handle them. Then after that, then you go to, you know, what trailer will come through the cover you're fishing. If you're fishing rock, get something that won't, you know, that'll stay up in the water column, stay out of the rocks. You know, this is where you're dragging. You're almost dragging it. When you get, you know, the heavier weed growth, you want to get a trailer that's not going to go side to side as much. You want something that's going to come straight through. You know, if you have you know, a lot of what I do is I'll get in a slop field and, you know, I'll just look where are the ambush points, and I'll throw a trailer that's going to keep me from getting hung up, but that I can direct with the rod back and forth through those ambush points. You know, if I can get 6 or 7 ambush points in one cast, you know, life is good. You know, one of my favorites that I got from a guy in Kentucky in the fall a few years ago is he takes a wide spool spinning rod and he puts a 1/2-ounce swim jig on it, and that's how he fishes when the fish get on the jumps.
Really?
He can take that spinning rod and he can double the length of the cast that he could get with a with a casting rod. So if they start to come up, he doesn't have to fire up the motor and try and get over there to get a few casts in. He just picks up that rod, knocks the snot out of it, and you know it takes longer to get the fish in because you got all that line out, but you know, better than not being able to get to them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you kind of said it there, you know, with your talk about the presentation with the different trailers, and that's my train of thought exactly. And honestly, as far as trailers, I'm throwing that swim bait type trailer, or I'm throwing a flapping craw type trailer the majority of the time. You know. Now let me ask you this: Do you find yourself throwing the swim jig on braid or fluorocarbon more often?
Yes.
Braid?
I throw it a lot more on braid. If I'm worried about the fish seeing it, I'll put a leader on.
Okay.
And the reason for that is that I just feel like I can wing it out there. Distance is your friend with a swim jig.
Sure.
More real estate you cover, the better. And you know, I like the part that I said about having a limber tip, because it's really important with a swim jig.
Yeah, I agree. And I actually started throwing the swim jig on a glass rod this year, and my hookups went way up. A heavy action glass rod.
Yeah. I mean, I had a college kid out with me one couple years back, and in the morning I handed him 2 jigs. I said, "You're going to want one of these 2." And he said, "Well, I'm going to try a square bill." And when I went up 5-1, he put the jig on his jig rod, and I went up 10-2. And then I said, "Okay, cut the square bill off, put the jig on the square bill rod," and the SOB beat me. Because it was just, all of a sudden the fish were getting it, and instead of having them hooked in the lip,
you're too nice.
You get it back and you couldn't see it. I mean, that's probably a key. That sometimes color. If they're not taking it, switch colors. I mean, color theory on that I have is that you've got sort of your standard colors. Your blues and your purples and your browns and your oranges and your green and your oranges. And then lately I've been getting a call from guys that are sending me swim baits, and they want a swim jig created to match them.
Wow.
Whether it's the big missile baits, or I get a lot of the high-tech swim baits, and they want something that's built to go with those.
You don't already sell it? I mean, you have the most intimidating color chart.
Really?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
That is true.
Well,
how many colors do you have of the swim jig?
I think standard color is about 100.
About
100. Standard.
But I still get guys that call up and say, "Well, can you do,
like me?"
Bob? Yeah, like you. But when we had that discussion, you weren't the only one that asked for that color.
Oh, don't talk about it.
So that just proves how much a pain in the ass fishermen are, because you can have 100 colors of jigs, and everybody, and you still got guys asking you for special colors. They can't find one out of that 100.
And they only want 8 strands of blue.
Yeah, I want 8 strands of tinsel and
we're nut jobs.
3 dog hairs.
But in the swim jig, it matters. You can't.
Well, here's an example. There was a tournament on the Potomac, and I had 5 different guys from FLW, which was the tournament, was going to be an FLW, all send me the same picture of a blue crab and ask me if I could do a swim jig that would match it. and it's a blue crab, which is now on my website, and down by you guys use it as a bluegill imitator.
Sure. Wow.
But it's it's just one of those things where it's a confidence thing. But then it's also, the shad in South Carolina are more bluish than the ones that are in Tennessee. And, and on the river, they're a little more brownish in the back. So, guys, they want, well, can you modify this? Can you modify that? And then there's, my favorite, which is, if I send you a jig, can you copy it? This jig company went out of business. They discontinued this. They discontinued that. And I started out my life as an artist. And I used to do live theater. I used to be a lighting designer. So have guys ask me to do, my new art form. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and jig tying is an art.
It is.
No doubt.
It is. Oh, especially when you're making 300 colors.
Exactly.
I mean, I make 7, and I'm struggling with that. I don't even know how you're doing what you're doing. But Dan, I want to. Can we get off jig topic for
we
just
can
a
go
second?
wherever you want to go.
I want to talk about your your contribution to helping get that extremely outdated culling ban or culling law lifted in Wisconsin, and how big that's been to the state of Wisconsin and bringing bigger tournaments and growing the sport in Wisconsin.
It's huge. I mean, the recognition that we get, and not only from the national audience, but now from the local audience. You get lacrosse. They're bringing in 2-3 tournaments a year. Those tournaments aren't free. They're costing lacrosse, but they see the benefit of having those things come in. The awareness that we're getting. The kids. I mean, the kids stuff is the best. I mean, right. You get all, you go to one of those weigh-ins and every one of those pros will stand in that hot sun after being out in the water for 8 hours, and they'll sign as many jerseys or hats or whatever as the kids bring up to them. And that's one of the ways. I mean, we're different, I got started fishing because Grandpa Bernie was willing to take me out.
Right.
A lot of kids these days don't have that advantage. They don't have, so now to be able to get it into the high school. I mean, Illinois is heads and tails ahead of us on that. With your high school stuff, we can't get it going here. And I don't know if it's because
Wisconsin hasn't done it yet.
Not on the academic level.
Okay. Neither is Indiana. We're behind too.
I think it's only Illinois.
Yeah,
at the moment.
It's because of Blagojevich.
No, I mean, there's now a number of states that do it in teams, but I mean, what it came down to is we were fighting misconceptions, and we were fighting misconceptions with guys who weren't telling us that they were operating under those things. People from within the DNR who were, they would say one thing and then submarine it, and what it came down to is assembling a bunch of people who were sort of like me, stubborn old Polacks, who would just keep coming back. Taking what we learned from the last fight, going a different route, going to a different thing. Okay, if we can't go through the DNR, then we need to go through the legislature. We need to enlist this person. And finally, we came up with a perfect firestorm where we had a guy in our Congress who did a TV show called Kill It and Grill It or something like that, and he sort of took it as his pet project and enlisted a senator from up north who was a lure maker, and the two of them just kept knocking on doors until we got it to go. It was a perfect firestorm that only took about 18 years to make it happen.
Well, but thank you.
You just have to do it.
Sincerely, Dan. I mean,
I appreciate it. It wasn't just me.
I know there was a lot of people on board, but I mean that it really changed a lot for everybody. For all of I mean, we love fishing up there. We come fish tournaments up there all the time, and it's really made things a lot easier.
Yeah, it's
and
amazing.
It really was a ridiculous lie. I mean, in my opinion, it was something from the 50s when no one was releasing fish, and it needed to be gotten rid of.
Yeah, someday when we have time, I'll bring down some spotted cow and we'll sit and polish off a 12er and we'll talk about what's behind all of this stuff, and you'll just your head will rattle, you'll be shaking it so much.
Well, maybe I'll go and bring some old style and we'll talk about the Brewers.
Don't start. Don't start. August is coming. Here comes the meltdown.
Oh, boy. Dan doesn't like the Cubs.
Yeah, oh, really?
No. You have to understand, in 68, when they melted down from, what was it, their 40-game whatever, 69, whatever. The year they broke my heart.
That's when the goat kicked over the barn.
Oh, God, he torched the barn. I came home every day from school to watch them crash and burn.
But you're still a Bears fan.
Yeah,
Gosh, yes.
That's all it matters.
Bears.
Oh, yeah, the Bears. And that's a tough thing to be up here.
You got to be a Bears fan on this show. Dan, there's a couple things on this show we don't make fun of, and that's Jesus, Rick Clunn, and Mike Ditka. They're sacred.
Coach. Absolutely.
They're sacred to us. Hey, Dan, we're right up against it, man. Give us some last minute words of wisdom on swim jigging.
Where can people get your jigs?
BrovarneyBaits.com is the best place, or you can call me. There's the numbers on the website. You can call me up. You can talk to me. I'll talk. I'll talk jigs for hours.
I know you will.
Well, you and I had one good one. You notice how I got through the thing without giving away your magic color?
I like that. I really like that about you. Thank you so much. Not even these guys know it right here. Only our producer Larry knows, and he doesn't fish.
I think it's called Slubberdigullion.
It is called Slubberdigullion. That's the magic color.
It's called black and blue?
No, that's this one right there. And so BrovarneyBaits.com. Dan, thank you so much for coming on the Stray Cast Show, dude. And we're going to have you come on again sometime.
Well, we'll do it. We'll talk more about flipping and skipping. And
did you like how I gave your jig company a plug during the prime Iaconelli time? Did you see how I threw that in there?
I did. I love the look on his face, too.
He knew. Hey, this is Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. Dan Brovarney, thank you so much for coming on the show, dude.
Thank you all.
We will talk to you soon. Go check you out, some Dan Brovarney. Baits.com. Good stuff right there. Hey, when we get back, it's the Bassin Roundtable, and we announce the big winner of the Jigapalooza contest. So don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. The Wind Down, Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television when we get back.
Zodius, designed to fish any technique 365 days a year. The torsional rigidity of High Power X construction allows for the most accurate of casts to where the giants live.
Fish, come here, dude. Get up in here. That right there is a good one. A face full of salad and a mouth full of jig.
The lightweight yet powerful components that make up Zodius, High Power X Blank, CI4 plus Real Seed and Alkanite guides let you cover the water.
Smoked it. Smoked it. Smoked a blade bait. Look at the power of these fish. Get up in here.
With a variety of finesse techniques that are very effective at catching fish. The sensitivity of High Power X construction and custom guide train make the lightest bites the right bites.
There we go. Got it. Oh, that's a good one. Hammered that little jackal eye shad. What a beast. I love it.
The key to fishing crankbaits is to cover water, and the crisp action of High Power X allows the rod to flex without collapsing during a cast to let you launch the bait and get it in the strike zone.
Oh, dusted it. Come here. Easy. Pretty good dude right there.
Spring, summer, autumn, or winter, Shimano Zodius. One rod, anytime, any place.
At Sleaze's Bait Shop, Rich, the true Sleazak, tells it like it is, honest with fishermen about the local fishing reports, weather conditions, and advice. He is a true region fisherman who has what you need to get from the shop to the water. Rich is always on site, and Sleaze's Bait Shop is always open. Just ring the buzzer by the door, and Rich will fill your minnow bucket and not be stingy about it. Sleaze's also has a full selection of terminal fishing tackle. Look for Sleaze's Bait and Tackle on Facebook. Sleaze's Bait and Tackle has been family owned and operated for over 29 years and is located at 2245 Randolph Street, right off 8094 at the
hobby. If you don't mind.
That's an NRX. That's going, right?
Yeah, that's gone. That's it.
There's 4 of them there.
Yeah, we're
We
going to
could do
give away
4.
all 4 of them right now.
Complete.
The winner is Ryan Whitacre.
And whatever
Thank you.
is left in JP's box of Mike Iaconellis right here.
There's like 4.
There's like 4 left because he's been wrecking them the whole time.
Had to
JP,
bribe.
let's give away a contest, dude. Let's give away a contest.
All right, we got a drum roll. What do we got?
Yeah, what do we got? Do we have any kind of production stuff? What's happening here?
All right, I hope you're listening.
Excitement and shout.
John
That was good.
Karpowski.
John-
You're listening? Hit us up at Straycast Facebook page.
Woo!
John Karbowski.
John
Karbowski.
John Karbowski is
Karbowski.
Karbowski is the winner of the
John.
jig package. And what does he do? He
Karbowski.
goes to what?
The Straycast Facebook page.
Go-
Send us your info. If not, we'll somehow contact you.
Yeah. But send us the info, and we'll get you your jig package. We need your address, and here's looking up your old address, by the way. And thank you very much for participating in the contest. And every week from now on, we'll have a contest on Stray Casts. So we got that going for us anyway.
So we got that going for us.
All those jigs are sweet. Made by fishermen for fishermen.
Yeah, I mean it's
All hand tight.
the truth, and John DeMay talked a little earlier about this on the Hammer Time segment, and he said that I made this jig for me originally. You made the jig for you, and you made it to do what you needed it to do. Now that brings it into our second guest, Mike Iaconelli, and at the time he was with Man's Baits. Okay, and he actually had Mans custom make him some jigs, the stone jig.
The stone jig.
In the Delta Special or something it was called. He also had a custom.
That was an awesome jig.
Yeah, he had a custom paddle tail worm made for him, and a finesse worm, a finesse floating worm actually, all made in colors to match the forage of the Delta. So there's something magic about making your own baits. Our sponsor, Phil Hunt, hand carves his balsa baits. He did it originally because he wanted something that was good as an old Bagley, and he couldn't get them anymore.
The tightrope is the same thing.
It's the same deal. Tell us.
We needed something for the lake.
Yeah,
we prototyped a bunch, and then they started working. We're like, oh, man. And we didn't release them for a while.
No.
We weren't going to sell these to people. I still have mixed feelings about it.
They'll shoot you with your own gun.
Yeah.
Well, Dirty Harry.
Here you go. Here's a gun.
there's some tricks with it,
Nice.
But yeah, that was the whole thing. JP was losing like 30 jigs a day out there throwing the jigs.
Economics. We talked about that, right?
And,
economics.
Yeah.
How much do they cost?
I couldn't afford it, yeah.
Yeah, and I made one that he called me like 2 weeks later. He's like, dude, I'm still fishing the same jig. I've been on every day for 2 weeks.
Nice.
And
it was catching them.
It was getting the same bites. I mean, they're big bites. And it was like, dude, this is the He also claimed the paint at the time was unchippable.
Bulletproof.
The only paint that's unchippable is actually John's.
It is.
Yeah, that's insane.
I have yet to shoot it.
Is it bridge proof?
Let's try shooting it after the show. You wanna do that?
I don't own a gun.
Well, we got
but
some
could
around
try
here.
There's some.
Yeah, we have them here.
No, we could go flip it on the concrete. I have some in the truck. We could do that.
I'd rather shoot them.
It have to be the 3/4 ounce. Then,
Yeah.
'cause the 1/4 ounce is kind of small.
Might be hard to hit.
That sounds a lot. It sounds a lot more fun. Hey, if you want to call up right now, you can. I forgot to tell everybody that there's a phone line here, and it's if there is anybody out there right now, 219-228-1492. 219-228-1492. What's the number, JP?
4.
That's my lucky number. 219-228-1492. John, this question goes to you and the in the tightrope boys right there. Do you guys still have an original prototype of your jigs?
I do.
I do have. I had 2.
Yes.
I had 2 of the prototypes. I gave one to a measuring company to measure it so we can make molds, and it got lost. And that was the.
Did you give it to Jimi Hendrix's plaster caster bunch?
It was the president and the vice president. We never had the 2 prototypes together, and I still have one.
Nice.
Gonna put it in the shadow box.
History,
someday.
dude. It's going in the Smithsonian, actually.
Okay.
Someday it will. Someday it will.
You know what? I pray for that.
Yeah.
One of the biggest Lake Michigan smallies I've caught came on a prototype.
Yeah.
And I've never thrown it again. Like
You retired it.
It immediately went retired.
Like Rick Clunn retires baits. Do you know what baits Rick Clunn has retired?
Man, it's got to be.
You guys know?
What type of bait or what specific?
It's got to be some sort of
crankbait?
balsa crankbait or a spinnerbait as well.
He actually has he's retired a Bagley Balsa B3 that he won a tremendous amount of tournaments on and a tremendous amount of money in the year 2000.
The specific bait.
The specific bait. He retired it.
That might have been Lake Michigan too. He was throwing that on the. I remember in the classic he was throwing a.
But he switched. He had to switch to the. He was throwing the big Balsa B3 because he was wrecking them on that everywhere else. But he actually had to go to a little Japanese crankbait called a Tifa Shot, which, by the way, is available at Lee's Global Tackle.
Nice plug.
Yeah, it's a little Japanese small little crankbait that they have over at Lee's. He also has retired a Fleck Weed Wader spinnerbait.
Okay.
That he won on a classic with, and he's retired some Pose RC1s. They're hanging up in his little treasure trove right there.
Can I suggest a segment, a new segment for you?
Sure.
Trivia.
Can we do this week in balsa history?
This week in balsa history.
This guy is a mountain of balsa crankbait knowledge. Every day you tell me something new.
I love balsa crankbaits. I mean, you've seen my.
You are passionate.
You've seen Grandpa
about
Paul's
balsa
box.
It's amazing, and you actually gave me one to take home, and I really
did.
appreciate it.
I did. I actually gave you the same honeybee, that Rick Clunn won that classic on.
The 1984,
was it the 84 or
42,
76
and the 77.
42. No, it was the first. It would have been the 71. I don't know.
That's just crazy.
76, 77.
How many miles a day do you
84,
run?
90.
I run 8 miles a day.
And all 8 miles, I bet you think about balsa.
Dude, you would not even know what goes through this brain of mine. It's if someone could walk in my brain for a day, they would be scrambled.
I imagine it's rattling like a one knocker.
It's stupid. I'm like a BB in a boxcar most of the time.
You run 8 miles a day?
I do. I'm a freak.
I wouldn't walk to the studio.
I think I ran 8 miles like in the last 3 years.
Right. I only do it 5 days a week. I don't run on Saturday and Sunday because God made Saturdays and Sundays for fishing.
Okay.
Nice.
Yes. That's
good theory.
And Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Every day that ends in
and Wednesday.
day.
Yeah. All those days, but not all day, like Saturday and Sunday. But you
Throwback Thursday.
Yeah, you know
that's got to be a passion for you.
Yeah, I mean, but and speaking of passion and speaking of never give up, we have us four sitting at this table, just like many of our viewers out there, just like our buddy the Ginger Ninja over here, our producer, and unlike Larry Kyleman, who's also our producer, we have a passion for fishing, okay? Again, it's what we do. Once we get out there on the water, it's hard to get off of the water.
It's all you think? Your mind is clear. The only thing you're thinking of is that's it.
Have you ever done anything where time flies so quickly? I mean, when you're out fishing, 5 hours seems like an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that crazy how that happens?
Even when, and the weirdest thing is normally, they say time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, wow.
Right?
Hey, yeah. Didn't think about that.
But when you're fishing, it's like, even when you're not catching them, like when you're not catching them and you're not having fun, it goes faster.
It's 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
At 10 o'clock.
Especially in tournaments.
If that makes
too.
sense.
Yeah.
You're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what?
It's like tournament
Like,
6 to 2,
me.
and you're not catching them, and now it's noon.
I call that the spin out.
Time warp.
That is the spin out. That's going dark side, as my friend Dan Lassick coined it.
But what are you doing? You're always looking at your rod. You're always in tune with your bait. You're doing the same thing.
Well, it's just
and
funny,
you don't
though.
care.
You, make
You
3
just did it.
casts and you look back, and it's been an hour.
I can't even sit in a chair to get my hair cut without
Me
antsy.
neither.
And I sit.
He goes all the time. His barber's his best friend.
That's awesome.
You get it? You get that one? That was a joke.
kind of a
But
joke there.
you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over, and it never gets boring because you're just waiting. You're like, when?
It's crazy. And you know, and I've never been involved in any activity like that. You know, I mean, we're I don't know. I
can think of a couple things we won't talk about.
It's a
well,
drug.
yeah, but that's all 2 minutes of it, Ryan. You know what I mean? That's all 2.5 minutes.
I'm proud of you.
I know, but that 2 minutes flies. Let me tell you.
2-minute warning.
Like, man, it felt like 5.
How do you like that hour?
I feel like it's only been 5 seconds.
60 minutes or 60 seconds.
It felt like 2 minutes.
This is the adult show.
Yes, this is the wind down. This is the absolute wind down. But
okay. Fishing. Ended on fishing.
Thank you.
That was just a tip.
JP, tell them what they won. Oh, we already did.
4.
Yeah.
4.
The whole deal is, all right, that the passion of fishing amongst us serious anglers, it's a serious affliction. It really is. But the whole draw to it for me personally, is the whole Bugs Bunny aspect of it. Do you guys know what I mean?
No.
Let me
explain Bugs Bunny.
Searching for all 7 pounders.
Let me explain. Let me explain to you the Bugs Bunny aspect of it. And the Bugs Bunny is a trickster. You know, he's probably the best actor of all time. For him and Barney Rubble, I'm going to give those guys that.
Okay.
But Bugs Bunny is a trickster. Okay. And the whole aspect and the correlation between fishing and Bugs Bunny is that we're out there to fool the fish. And there's a certain satisfaction of knowing that you are out there fooling a living, breathing creature. It's
man versus nature instinct.
It's a pure form. You're
in
exactly
reality,
right. And
they're fooling us more than we're fooling them.
That is true, but that's what makes the thrill, dude. That's what makes the thrill. And the fact
cat
that
and
you
mouse.
guys do it with baits that you have created, how special is that? Come on.
You know what? A true competitor is going to never win in fishing. You're going to win a tournament.
Right.
You're never going to win the fish unless you catch one every single cast and they're all 8 pounds.
Yeah.
And there's nothing bigger than 8 pounds in a lake. Then you won. It's like golf. Unless you shoot an 18,
yeah,
you didn't win.
It's not. You're never perfect.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
it's a lot like baseball too. Tournament fishing. You know, you're not. You know, the 300 batting average thing. It's like, you know, you strike out 70% of the time. You're in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
You know. But and you lose all the time. You lose almost every cast.
But every cast, I think I'm going to catch one.
Right.
I really do.
Well, you have to.
I really do. That's how I feel. Every cast, I feel I'm going to catch one. And just like every Stray Cast outdoor cartoon television show, I have a hell of a good time, and we hope that you do too. We have some big guests coming up in the near future. We got Ish Monroe coming up. We have Brent Chapman coming up. Aaron Martins.
We got A.A. Mart.
A.A. Wrong. Yep. He's coming up here. Kelly Jordan coming to the show. Byron Velvick.
Yes.
Coming to the show. Shaw Grisby. They're piling in. There's something that they like about this stupid show. I don't know what it is.
I mean, are you serious? I mean,
yeah, I'm totally serious that they're coming on, and I guess that what kind of show this is. But hey, you know what? We have a good time every week, and we sure hope that you do too. We will catch you next week right here, Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television live with no technical difficulties next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central. Catch you later.
There ain't no other way out. all around. It's now or never. So put the motor down. Let's take a straight cast. We're gonna fish it out.